right, live.
After I introduce you, if you want, you can. Well, Jace, we should get a chair for her over there so she. Welcome. It is another Teaching Tuesday. It's September 21st. Is this the fall equinox? It is. Oh my goodness. First day of autumn, of fall. And I'm so happy you've joined us. This is my dear friend, Ann Randall. She has joined us to help teach this class. She has, well, just tell us a little bit about who you are and where you come from. So she's got a lot to share.
Okay. I was born in an Amish community. I lived with a horse and buggy and no electricity, no TV, no radio. And of course, we had to learn how to entertain ourselves. And we had to be very creative. But it was a very good way to grow up, actually. And I wish I could have shared that with my children.
Yeah.
But
it made you who you are today, and she's pretty special.
Oh.
So what are you going to do for us today?
I'm going to make apple dumplings. My mother used to make apple dumplings, and it was one of my favorite foods.
I've never had an apple dumpling.
Oh, well, you're going to have it today.
Yeah. Oh, and she also has put together 10 of her favorite apple recipes, which I will put in the handouts, and y'all can get that. Thanks to Ann. So anyway, we're really glad you came here today. And we'll be hearing more from her later. But first, we're going to get started with going over some things that I'd like to share with you. So yeah, you don't need to sit here anymore if you want. Well, and Jace, do you have a chair she can sit on? Okay. So I wanted you to help me with something, Ann, if you don't mind. Come on back here for just a second. All right, we always start every class herbing around, and you don't have to sit down, just stand there. Okay. But this is autumn olive berries, and they are on Nature's Wave right now on the grocery store, free for the knowing and the picking. They are so delicious, and so I have a whole basket full of these twigs with the berries on it. And so what Ann's going to do while she's waiting to teach is she's just going to take off all these berries off of the stems. And you can hear them crunching down like that. They have so many, you can get as many as 8 pounds of berries off of one shrub. They are so prolific, and they're so delicious and so nutritious, so very high in antioxidants, in lycopene. They're just gorgeous. And so we're going to talk about, probably do a whole class on this, but you can see the silver on this side of the leaf and the green on this side. And so they're just beautiful to have in your yard, but you don't ever want to put them in prime real estate because they're very, very invasive. Mm-hmm. So you want to put them like on the edge of your pasture or someplace where you want them to take over, but not in your vegetable garden. Mm-hmm. So you can see why they'd be prolific, right?
Yeah, even the leaves are beautiful.
They are. In the spring, you can find that they're shaped kind of like a V shape, and you can see them because they look sage. They look like this beautiful light colored green. They have alternate branching, and they have very smooth edges on these little lanceolate leaves. And it's one of my favorites. So I've been waiting and waiting for these to be ripe, and they are ripe and they're ready. And so I'm making all kinds of wonderful things, fruit leathers, jams and jellies. Thank you, Ann. So she'll be herbing around with that. And I wanted to thank you all for joining me, and welcome all of our new members. There's so many new friends, new Wild Blessing wild folks that have joined us. And I'd love to hear who you are, where you're from. If you're watching now, please comment. I love to have the participation. If you feel like it, that would be amazing. Invite your friends. I honestly think that what we have to offer here at Wild Blessings, everyone used to know it was common sense, and we need to reclaim our heritage, gifts from God. So our scripture for today is, we look to you to give us our food in due season. You give to us, we gather it up. You send forth your spirit, and we are created. You open your hand, and we are satisfied. So that'll be our verse. And I was thinking back over these seasons, and it's absolutely blown my mind. We started off back in January, and we were talking about how the seasons, harvest, seed time and harvest will never cease. And that was in Genesis 8:22 or 6:22. We've talked about be patient like a farmer who waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for the rain. And so now it has yielded its crop. And so I wanted to share some scriptures about the harvest and how important it is that we don't just plant seeds or identify plants, but that we actually gather them, especially when the harvest is so plentiful, which it always is. All right, so here's the scripture for that. So this is awesome. This is somewhere in, well, let me just read the Genesis 8:22 again. It says, while the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night shall not cease. And here's another one in Exodus. It says, also you shall keep the feast of the harvest of the first fruits of your labors for what you sow, from what you sow in the field. And also the feast of the ingathering at the end of the year, when you gather in the fruit of your labors from the field. So we didn't labor to plant wild foods. We're just gathering them and identifying them. Here's another one. It says, go to the ant, you lazy one, observe its ways and be wise, which having no chief, officer, or ruler prepares its food in the summer and gathers its provision in the harvest. It says, how long will you lie down? And when will you arise from your sleep? A little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and your poverty will come in like a drifter and your need like an armed man. So you're going, wait a minute, Holly, you've just been talking about being still and being at peace and resting and knowing that God is God and just being relaxed. Well, yeah, but we're busy and we have a lot to do. And it's just having that attitude of peacefulness in the midst of chaos, in the midst of busyness, and taking the time to breathe and to dance and to rejoice and to gather. So gathering the harvest is so important, and I can't wait to share with you what it is I've been gathering this week. And then the last verse is amazing. It says this, a sensible person gathers the crops when they are ready. It is a disgrace to sleep through the time of harvest. And then here's the same verse in a different translation. It says, at harvest season, it's smart to work hard, but it's stupid to sleep. So that was kind of crass, but it's very true. And so therefore, I want to challenge you to get out there. I hope this motivates you. And then we're going to share with you all the different things that we can do with the things that are before us. And I hope that you will share with me what you're harvesting and what you're finding free for the knowing and the picking around your area. Okay, the earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. All right, I wanted to also make one more quick announcement, and that is that I'm no longer going to do pre-recorded classes because it got really complicated. And so therefore, I really want my husband to focus on his artwork. And so this is Jason's art. And so I just want to thank you, Jason, so much for how you have helped me, and you've made such amazing videos, and you've done such a great job. But we're going to make it simpler and make it very live, and just whatever I come up with in this hour is going to be good enough. Okay. All right, let's have our wild drink. And what I've got on here is Goldenrod. And so this is Goldenrod Punch, and this is the antidote to ragweed season, because it's not goldenrod that you're allergic to, it's ragweed. So I've got in here some goldenrod that's been steeped and infused in some hot water. And then I also add a little bit of orange juice. So this is really a good solution if you're having seasonal allergies. Would you like to try some, Ann?
Good. Yes, thank you.
I'll just bring it to you.
Okay,
There you go.
thank you.
All right. Okay. So, I wanted to share one of my wild adventures this week is that I had the privilege of doing the flowers for a wedding rehearsal last Friday night. And so I'll be sharing pictures of that and so forth in our group, but it turned out really well. And my dear friend, one of our own, Maggie Russell, came and helped me actually put them into beautiful bouquets and arrangements. So we had all of God's creation to fool with and to play with, and it was just incredible how it represented what's here in the high country, such full of beauties and textures, and it was astounding. So I'll share those pictures, and hopefully next week Maggie can come and share with us how to do bouquets and beauty with nature, with fall creation and fall nuts and seeds and flowers and stuff. So that would be great. And if not, we'll do that sometime this fall because you don't want to miss out on trying that yourself. All right. So now I want to get into what's on my counter so I can clear it off so that Ann has plenty of space to work. We always talk about nature's wave. It's kind of like surfing. And you have, in the winter, it feels like you'll never get to surf and everything seems so quiet. But all of that life is below the surface of the ground, in the roots, stored up energy, waiting for the heat and the warmth of the spring to bring it up again and to start the whole cycle. But during the winter, the roots are available all winter long. And depending on whether it's a biennial or a perennial, you can harvest that root year round, or there's caveats there, but we're not going to get into those caveats. But I just wanted to talk to you quickly about what roots there are out there right now to gather. So I would definitely be looking for dandelion roots. Whoops, that pen doesn't work. And burdock root, and those are always prolific. But right now, the inulin in the dandelion and the burdock is going to be super high, especially after a frost. So making sure that you're looking for dandelion root, and make sure you leave some of that root in the ground, because even if you leave a tiny bit, it'll keep helping it to continue to grow, and you want to always have them available. Another thing you want to collect at this time of year are Jerusalem artichokes, because they are like potatoes. And I'll teach you when we talk about them how to fix them so that you don't have flatulence issues, because it is very hard on the gut, but they are tasty. These are the beautiful flowers of the Jerusalem artichokes, and they have the most unusual feel of the leaf. It's almost impossible to move your hand backwards against the nap of the leaf because it's so rough and almost tactile. It's just really crazy. So you'll have to feel that, Ann, when you get up here. It's really crazy. All right, so that's the roots. And then we go to the shoots. And honestly, I can't think of anything out there right now that you would want to eat the shoots of, because the shoots have all, the energy's gone up the plant. But the leaves, so here's what's available right now with leaves. So the leaves right now, the dandelion leaves are back on the market because they just love the cold weather, and they're everywhere. And then another thing that is really starting to come back is chickweed.
You got a marker over by the stove there. Why don't you grab that one?
Yeah, this one's kind of running out.
Yeah, that brown.
All right, so the chickweed loves cold weather. It was gone. It came in the spring in abundance. It disappeared in the summer, went to seed, and it's back. And so it'll stay. I've even gathered chickweed under the snow. So chickweed is an amazing thing to be looking for right about now. Okay, and then the energy goes up into the buds, the flower buds. And so look here, I have these beautiful flower buds of the evening primrose. And these are wonderful vegetables. They're so delicate and sweet and high in incredible nutrition that we will talk about when we discuss this plant. Thank you, Jason. Okay, so the flower buds, and then the energy goes into the flowers. And these flowers open at 8 o'clock at night, and they live for one day, and then you can see these have died off. It would be so fun to just collect one of these heads and put them on your counter and just watch this happen in front of your eyes. They're so beautiful and they're so tasty. So once they've gone into flower like that, you can eat the flowers in your salads. They're so delicate. But then they go to the seed pods. But before I get to the seed pods, I want to share with you another flower that is out right now that you're going to love. And it's this one right here. It's Chicory. So evening primrose and then Chicory. This beautiful primrose color here. And these are really fun to put on your counter because they open around 10 in the morning, 10 to 12. And so you can see that this one here already opened and now it's closed and it's dying or it's dead and it's going to seed. But these just opened this morning and it was really fun just actually watching that process. All of these will be opening, even sitting here on my counter. So they're beautiful and they're fun to watch and they're delicious. You can also gather chicory roots, which you can make great coffee out of and has incredible nutrition. So the goldenrod is another flower that's out right now. I would collect that while the getting's good.
We have a question from Kathy Robinson. She said, I live in suburbia where goldenrod in the parks might be sprayed. Is it safe to rinse and use?
That's a really good question, Kathy. I wouldn't, because it has too many surfaces. This would probably be one of the dirty dozens. Like, have you heard about that? Where certain fruits, even if they're sprayed, they're not as bad for you because you can rinse them off well. But grapes and strawberries are really bad because they have all those surface areas that the pesticides can't get cleaned off. I can't even imagine you being able to clean off the pesticides off of something like this. And if you did, you would lose so many of the medicinal qualities that are in the flowers. So I would just come visit me, or I can send you some. Anyway, yeah, it's so important where you gather, because you can have a perfectly edible plant be perfectly poisonous because of its location. Okay, so the flowers, so much out there. The roses, oh, they're so beautiful. The asters, those are, oh my gosh, I found all of these what are they called? Daylilies. And these live only for a day as well, but they're buds. Look at these buds. These buds are super tasty. They're like a vegetable. So eat the buds, eat the flower when it's out. It has a very velvety, delicious, sweet lettuce taste to it. There's nothing like it. And then when it goes to a seed pod, you can eat that as well. The roots are also tasty. So the daylilies are pretty exciting. And the hibiscus and the rose of Sharon and all of those flowers are out now. So gather those and put them in your salads and enjoy them. Okay, then the flowers it's all about going to seed. So then the flowers die and then they turn the ovary or the ovule turns into a seed. And sometimes it's protected in a seed pod. And sometimes those seed pods are really, really tasty too. So here I've got some evening primrose seed pods. And I also have some garlic flower seed pods. But look at those. Now, these are way too fibrous. So you go, Holly, that's disgusting. I could never eat that. You're right. So what I would do with these, like when they first turn into a seed pod, they're very tasty and tender. But now they're very fibrous because they're forming the seeds inside. So what you do with these is you put them in your stock pot. Excuse me. Put them in your stock pot so that you can make a really rich, powerful, antioxidant-rich, vitamin-rich, mineral-rich stock or a soup. So you can do that. So let's write that down. So evening primrose seed pods. I'm just going to go EVP. Don't ask me why. I just always do. And then I found a bunch of Lambsquarter, and these are like 8 feet tall. It was just crazy down by the New River. So I was able to collect a bunch of these. I'm drying these so I can make them into flour, Flour. And this will be super rich protein flour that we're going to make tortillas out of probably in a couple of weeks. Because next week I'm going to teach on nuts. And so I don't want to take away from nuts, but I will have this dried and ready to go. Okay. And then we talk a lot about berries. And so the berries are out. Berries are a big deal right now. Blackberries were in July. They're gone, but boy, did we enjoy them, and my freezer's full of them. So some berries that I really love are the autumn olive berries. And right now, oh, let me see, Ann, did you get any of them into the, can you hand me your bowl? So let me show you what she did. So you can see, whoops, look at these beautiful berries. These are autumn olive berries. And so making fruit leather with them. I'm making jam right now with them. You can make wine out of them. Anything you would do with a berry, the autumn olive berry is out now. So get it. And the best way that you can put it on your property is to get a branch of it, full branch of it, and stick it. I did this just yesterday at Jenny Hannafin's farm. I gave her a couple of branches and we put them down on the other side of the pasture where it wouldn't be hayed, and she could look forward to the birds eating it, fertilizing them as they poop them out, and then create life again. And so I'm hoping, and we prayed over it that, or I did, that she would have an abundance of autumn olive berries, because this is a real super fruit, unbelievable berry. Another berry that's out right now are the beauty berries. There's really no way to describe the flavor of this berry, but it makes really good jelly, a very beautiful purple jelly. It's not quite ripe yet. It's probably in a couple of weeks. So another berry I found are these buttonbush berries. They're kind of fruits and rather than berries, and they have a really delicious flavor, and they taste kind of disgusting if you eat them like this, but after you've processed them, you've made them into a jelly or something, which I will do, and I'll probably gift one of you one of these jellies. It's delicious. So those are out now. Their flowers are so insanely beautiful. They're white and butterflies love them. They're just gorgeous, and they make a really beautiful shrub. So if you can get a button bush on your land, that would be a good thing to have too, just for beauty and also for nutrition. Okay, other berries that are out and about right now are hawthorns. And so Jenny invited me over to gather some hawthorns at her farm because she had quite a few, although I have a lot. I'll never forget spending $26 buying a hawthorn small tree from Joe Hollis, which I was glad to do. But when I came home thinking, now I've got a hawthorn, I counted 21 hawthorn trees on my acre, which is like, oh my word. So anyway, but hers are just prolific. And so I'm excited about making this into jam because it's really not perfect right now for medicine. You want to wait till after the first frost, but I wanted to beat the birds and the deer to some of them. You can make it into a very healing, medicinal, heart healthy jam, but it's even better after the first frost. Okay, what other berries? So crabapples. And so I made crabapple jelly. And crabapple, look at that color. Isn't that beautiful? And so I'll be doing a video on how I did that. And it's so important that you don't squish the pillowcase after you pour that off, because you just want it to drip. And if it drips, you'll have a clear jelly like this. And because it's so high in pectin, I didn't have to use any pectin, store-bought pectin, in order to thicken it. And pectin is high in apples and particularly high in crabapples. So this was one of my decorations for the wedding. It's not pretty. That's all I did was just throw it in this jar. But this definitely, I wanted to show you what I used to make it usable. Oh, and I wanted to show you this too while I'm over here. This is the buttonbush tree. It's looking pretty sad today, but there it is on the branches. They look so unusual. I love them. Okay, so I have this vegetable cleaner. So I just put it in my sink, a whole bunch of water, and a cap full of this for all of these fruits, but particularly the crabapples, because where I harvested these was not the best place to harvest. However, it's not one of the dirty dozen, as you can tell, because it's easy to clean these off. So I cleaned these really well, and then I made them into, I boiled them down, so simple. Then you add, you put it in a pillowcase and just let it drip. Ours was dripping in the bathtub into a bowl, and collect that to make the jelly. What's in the pillowcase, I'm going to turn into a crabapple butter and use that to make a fruit leather with my beauty berries or my autumn olive berries or any of the berries that don't have the pectin in it And that way I can have a thickness and the texture that I want. Okay, so then we go from the seed pods and the fruits and the berries to nuts. And so next week we'll be talking about nuts, but I wanted to show you these. They're out now, and you want to get them now before the leaves fall, because once the leaves fall, you won't be able to find them as easily, but they're super easy, especially if you have little kids to help you. And this last week I had my beloved Payne family boys, Gideon, Eli, Benjamin, and their incredible mom, Amy, came and helped me gather these. And it was just so much fun. So we would race to see who could get the most, and we would set the timer, and it was just great. But these are my favorite acorns because look at those little caps. They look like little elf caps. These are the least high in tannins, and so they take the least amount of preparation of all of the acorns. So what I did with them is I froze them right away. So my freezer has a huge gallon bag of these in there. And why did I do that? Come next week and I'll teach you. Just do it. So collect them, put them in the freezer. And next week when we talk about nuts, I'll explain to you why that's an important thing to do. Oh, I also dried some of the apples and I made it into apple cider, which will create a mother, and I'll teach a class on that as well. Or probably just do a little video, what I'll put on Wild Blessings. All right, so I'm going to clean off this counter, and I'm going to invite Ann to come up, and she's going to teach us how to make apple dumplings. And while it's cooking, do I need to get the stove heating, hon? Yeah. What temperature do you want? Okay, she went in the other room. All right, so let me clear this off, and she can have some space. But you want to preserve the harvest and have it ready to consume in the winter, to give to people who need it, or just to bless others, but to have for uncertain times, or just because the wintertime you want to have all this good nutrition and you don't want to waste the harvest. All right, so let me put these down.
You might want to say hi to Cindy. She's on watching. Cindy Chris.
Oh, hi, Cindy. Oh my gosh, Cindy, I haven't sent off your mushroom powder yet. It's on my heart to do. I've just had one crazy week, but Justin's gone back to Austin and the wedding's over, and you're on my priority list for sure. Same with you, Amanda. I haven't forgotten you, and I will definitely get that off. So, okay, hon, let me clear this off. I wonder, can we put, when you're baking, can we just throw a couple of these berries in too, just for fun?
If you would like to.
Yeah, because they go great with apples.
Yeah. I love the Crabapples.
Yeah, well, this one's yours. So make sure you take it home.
You.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming to help me. And I'm hoping to have more of you come to help me, like Suzanne Upton is an incredible herbalist. She's working on a wild food cookbook as well. And so you're not going to want to miss that. And we're going to have her come and teach some of the amazing things she knows. Cindy, I wish you could come and teach on how to make soaps and all of the cool things you do. So let me get rid of this. Ooh, look at this hawthorn, these thorns. Oh my gosh, see that thorn? Many think that this was what the crown of thorns was made out of. All right, so let me get these apples over here. Okay. How can I help you? Besides turn on the oven.
Very nice.
Paring knife, okay. Can you use this? No? All right, let me look for one. I don't have very good knives. How about that?
I'll try that.
Yeah, that's not good. I'll find something. I don't know where it is.
Okay.
All right, so I'm getting the oven emptied and so that we can put things in here. And Jason, I think she's going to need to have this on her, don't you think? Because, all right, guys, I'm sorry. I have to empty the oven real quick. All right, what temperature do you want it to be at, Ann?
Let's start it at 400.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'll help you with that. But while you're, just for a second, I'm going to just tell people what kind of things I like to purchase to deal with apples. All right. So if y'all don't have these, I'd get them. This is an apple slicer. See, it cores it in the middle. This is an apple peeler, and they have suction that holds it onto the counter, and they're really fun to work with. And that's how I made all of the apple rings that I dried to actually send to Jordan, but I'm going to make some for us as well. This is a fruit. What is this called?
Strainer?
No, there's a word for it. Somebody type it in. I don't know. It's on the tip of my tongue too, but this one's really important for the autumn olive berries. So in my autumn olive, I've got like 8 cups of autumn olive in my nickel pan, and I also have crab apples. Why did I do that? Because I wanted the pectin from the crab apples.
So what does that function for?
So I'll take that puree that I've been heating down, add it in here, and go like this, and it will get the juice come out the bottom, and we'll keep the seeds and stuff like that and skins on the top. So it takes a little work, but I'll tell you, this is a lot easier. I don't know what I'd do without this, actually. This is a must. So if you're serious about doing some of this kind of harvesting and preparation, then you're going to need it. This is another one I have, which is similar to this, probably a little easier. This was my mom's. So you would just take all that puree, dump it in here, make sure you have a bowl under it, and then you just take like a baseball bat kind of wooden thing and just grind out the juice and the puree. It comes out the sides. So do you have these at your house too?
I do.
Yeah.
I don't
Anne
use
has
them anymore.
everything. She's a cook. She used to cook for Samaritan's Purse, and she's amazing. So I'm hoping to have her back, and she's been helping me with my cookbook. How many cookbooks do you have in your house?
I have no idea.
You got rid of a couple thousand.
Way too many. But they're so
Okay,
much
you're going to have
fun
to stand
read.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're so beautiful.
Yes, they are.
All right. So now you're up.
Okay.
Let's take this out of the way.
Oh, I want my goldenrod. Okay.
Okay, the way that my mother used to make apple dumplings is with a brown sugar with butter and cinnamon and nutmeg. And this is what that looks like right here.
Oh.
And
I'm going to hold it up so people can see. See, this is where the camera is. Like that. So let's just put it here so people can really look at it.
okay. And then I tried something different with apple juice or apple cider. And I very lightly sweetened it with a little bit of cornstarch. And you can do that actually as a topping for pancakes, waffles, to make it a little bit different, and put cinnamon and nutmeg in it.
Well, how does cornstarch sweeten it?
No, it doesn't sweeten it.
Oh, it thickens it. Okay.
It does, yes. And I put a little bit of brown sugar in this too, but not as much as that one. So that's what that looks like.
Okay, so that one's mine and that one's yours.
Which one's mine?
She's making a fresh one.
Okay, and then I tried something different with apple cider also. I found a recipe that says that you need to take 8 cups of cider and reduce it down, bring it to a boil, simmer it to 1.5 cups. And this is what that is. And then you can also spice it with a little bit of butter, cinnamon, nutmeg.
Wait. So this was 8 cups of juice?
Yeah.
Now, it was cider or apple juice?
Apple cider.
Apple cider.
Yes.
So you take 8 cups of apple cider, boil it down to this amount?
No, I have more at home.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I just brought enough to cover what we're going to do with the apple dumplings. We're going to make it without any sauce at all.
Okay.
And then pour this on top.
Do you want me to pair these for you?
If you want to.
Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Okay. And so I've already made a butter crust. And guess what? I need that knife.
Okay, well, I have another one. I want to show you. I just learned this. This is a way to do, watch this, guys. You do this side and you do this side. This is how to peel an apple. I saw it on a YouTube video.
Yeah,
Have you done this before?
I have, but then you have to take the core out. And so that's, And some people
Well, I have a
actually-
core right there.
Yeah, but then you slice it.
You still have to slice it.
Yeah, I don't want it sliced. And so
Well,
some people
how
have
do
a
you want
core
it
where it
done?
just goes down in the middle, takes the core out, and leaves the apple whole.
Oh, well, how do you get the core out, or do you want the core in there?
Yeah, you have a tool that you can just push it down the top to the bottom, and it takes the core out.
Did you bring it?
What?
Did you bring it?
No, I don't have one.
What? You have everything
Okay,
else. All right, so
okay.
now what do I do with it?
Okay, cut it in half. Okay, first of all, I just wanted to show you all how to actually do an apple dumpling. Okay, so I brought brown sugar, and I put nutmeg and cinnamon in this already. And I had a butter thing here.
So hold on, I'm getting rid of this core.
Yeah, just around.
Okay, but I keep it in half.
Yeah.
Right?
Right, actually, this is how I do it. I'll
Oh, you show me. I don't,
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing.
It's better with a paring knife. So
Yeah.
you sort of have just like a little hole in here,
Oh, yeah.
and then you just take this out.
I've lived 65 years doing it the hard way.
Oh, really?
That's amazing. Okay, thank you.
No, and then you put some butter in it. Also, and I don't usually do this. I like Kerrygold butter. There's nothing better.
I've never had that.
And then you put the apple on top.
Oh, I'm so excited. Wow. I'm going to have to make some dandelion root coffee for this.
Oh,
That looks like lunch to me.
Yeah, I'm like, who needs lunch? Actually, I'm going to make an apple salad for you for lunch. Is that
Oh.
okay?
that sounds good. Yeah. Okay.
Since we're all into apples. We're celebrating apples today.
Now you can use a biscuit dough to encase your apple in it. I personally like a good apple crust. I mean a pie crust.
So you made that from scratch,
I did. It's a
of
butter
course.
pie. You
Mhm.
can use a refrigerated one.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's what that looks like. Then you just bake it at 400 degrees until your apple is tender.
Okay, so I'll bring this over for you to put it in. Do I need to butter the...
Yeah, I have a little butter right here.
And how long does it bake for?
Depends on the apple. I think the ones I did this morning were maybe 40 minutes.
Oh, so we'll just show a picture afterwards
Yes,
then.
yes.
Okay.
right.
Oh, it's going to smell so good. Baking.
Right.
So are you going to do this one too?
Well, I was going to leave it for later. If you want, I could do this. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
And then we can bake it at the same time.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, is there anything else you wanted to share with us about, did you have apples on your farm, and where exactly was your farm?
I grew up in northern Indiana,
Mm-hmm.
and we always had apples and cherries, whatever we could grow. Always had big gardens, froze and canned our produce for the winter.
Did you have like a spring room, or what is it called, where, because you didn't have refrigeration, right?
Well, we usually had a cellar,
Right.
which stayed cool pretty
Mhm.
much the whole time.
And how full, what would that cellar look like after harvest season?
There would be rows and rows of shelves with canned goods, all different colors.
Oh, I bet that made you feel rich.
Well, yeah, it makes you feel like you're ready for the winter.
Yeah. Or any eventuality.
Yeah.
Do you need more butter than that?
Yes.
I have some right here. And I'll get you a washcloth for your hands because I know they're all messy.
Yeah, that's gonna be good. Okay. And the other apple.
That is so cute. What a great idea.
And you can also make the dumpling smaller. You can use a half of an apple,
Mm-hmm.
and you can have a thick crust or a thin crust. however you like. So there's a lot of ways you can experiment with flavors. You could even put some cranberries in the middle.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
I'm sticking them in. That's good enough.
Okay.
Ah. When a family has a lot of children in the Amish community, are they still busy all the time, everybody?
Yes. And children usually have a lot of chores, and I think that's such a good idea. It gives them more of a sense of security than if they were allowed to just play.
Why do you say that?
Well, when you have responsibilities, you feel like you belong.
I like that. That's a really good point.
Yes. Okay, there it is.
Okay, so it's going in at 400
400.
for 45 minutes? We'll check it at 45
We
minutes.
can check it at 40 minutes or wash my hands.
Yeah, right here. And here's the soap. And the towel's on the refrigerator.
So how did you say you determined the length of cooking time?
Well, I usually just sort of check the apple inside because I like my apples to be soft. I don't like a lot of crunch in a pie or a crisp.
Yeah. I wanted to point out that what I did with all of my peeling and all of my drying of those apple slices is I just put all the pieces in here, and then I covered it with filtered water and 1/4 cup of sugar. And what that's going, then I covered it with a, what do you call it? Just a breathable top. You don't want a plastic lid or a metal lid or anything. Oh, the trash is around the corner. Can you throw that away?
Right.
Now you just washed your hands. Sorry. Anyway, I'm not sure. So do you make your own apple cider vinegar?
I don't.
You don't?
I usually
You
get
did as a
rags.
kid though, right?
No, I don't think we did. I think we just bought it.
I'm shocked. Anyway, it's
But-
easy to do. And think of the money I would have saved if I've only started doing this about 2 months ago. Yes. What were you gonna
How that
say?
you can actually boil this down and have juice made out of it.
That's true. So don't throw anything away. And, there's a purpose and a use for all of it. But I'm excited about doing the apple cider vinegar because there's so many benefits to apple cider vinegar. And if you've ever not studied that, then Google it. But this is a really good book called Bragg's Apple Cider Vinegar, The Miracle Health System. And it talks about all the ways in which apple cider vinegar is such a life changer and can be such a benefit to your health. The biggest thing about it is that it's a probiotic, a natural probiotic to help keep our gut health happy. And actually, if your colon is not happy, you ain't happy. So this is just a great thing to use.
Show the cover
Yeah.
one more
All right,
time,
here's the
please.
cover. You see that? But you can just Google it as well. There's a lot on there. Okay, so what else did you want to share with us? I'm going to clean off the counter while you talk.
Okay.
I'm excited about this. I'm so excited. That is so cool. I'm definitely doing that. Go ahead.
It cuts down the sugar also.
Okay.
Another thing that's very interesting to me is, apple cider vinegar is so healthy for you, but it's hard to take sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can actually make apple cider vinegar gummies.
No.
Yes, you can.
Wow.
And that's made with water, organic apple juice or cider gelatin, and apple cider vinegar.
That sounds awesome. We should do that. I'll definitely do that this week while we're still focusing on apples.
Yeah.
But they're still gonna taste like vinegar.
Well, I've done it, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to take. And I think what I would do the next time would be put some honey in it. Good. Yeah, makes it a little bit better.
Good.
But also another thing is apple cider vinegar drink.
I can't read that.
Oh, okay.
Put your glasses. You get your glasses there.
Oh,
Okay. It's the apple cider vinegar, and always raw, unfiltered, raw honey, unsweetened grape juice, unsweetened apple juice.
that
And
sounds
that's supposed
sounds
to be
very
really
good.
for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I copied all these for you to take pictures of.
Okay. So
And
I'll be
there's-
sharing them with you guys. So let's see. We have
and there's
boiled
that
cider.
box.
Let's just
Uh-huh.
read them. There's boiled cider. There's pie crust for an apple pie.
Yes, or the apple dumplings.
Is this your actual grandma's pie crust?
No,
Aw.
I Googled it.
Okay. And then Amish apple dumplings, which is what we just have here.
Right.
Old-fashioned apple crisp. Apple chutney. Ooh, that sounds so good.
Yeah.
Apple cider vinegar gummies. We'll definitely give you the recipe for that.
Okay. And I made the pie crust with a little bit of vinegar in it.
Why?
And then this looked like a good recipe for me.
Upside down apple
Apple
dumpling
dumpling
pie.
pie.
Like instead of an apple upside down pineapple.
No, pie. Pie.
Oh, it's a pie.
Yeah.
Upside
so you
down.
make a double crust pie,
Uh-huh.
and then you have sugar and butter and pecans on the bottom. You put your crust on top of that, your apples on top of that, another crust on top of that, and then you flip it when it's done.
Oh, that sounds so
You mean
good.
to serve it, you serve it upside down.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
sounds good.
Well, it's sort of like one big apple dumpling.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So here's some of the things that I wrote down. So tell me if you've eaten any of these. So apple dumplings is what we're going to eat today.
Right.
A baked apple. Have you ever done that where you
Yes.
you core it out, you throw things in the middle, and you stick it in the oven, you bake it like that?
Yes.
Okay, by the way, if you keep the skin on, there's a lot of the antioxidants and a lot of the nutrients that are actually in the skin. So, just remember that. So I know that when I was a kid, my mom always peeled off the apple skin for me,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of enabling, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is that it's good to eat that as well. Apple crisp, apple bread. Have you had the apple bread?
Oh, yes.
Apple pie, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Apple crumble, apple pancakes, apple syrup, apple muffins,
Mm-hmm.
caramel apples. I love caramel apples, but instead of using caramel, I just like to use peanut butter.
Mm.
Apple juice, of course, apple sauce, apple butter. Have you made apple butter?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Rose apple pastries. Now, who was it that posted a picture? Was that, okay, guys, help me out. I can't remember who did that. Was it Sharon? Well, anyway, one of you guys posted a picture of your apple rose pastries, which were phenomenal. And my friend Kim Chasteen made the same ones for the wedding rehearsal on Friday night. And they went really fast. They were super beautiful and good.
How did she do that?
She used, that puff pastry that you can buy at the
Yes,
store.
yes.
And then she would cut. It's a long story.
Mhm.
I'll send
Okay,
you the recipe.
okay,
Very cool. I'll give you the recipe for that.
Okay.
Dried apples, of course, apple tarts, apple fruit leather, really great way to preserve all of your harvest is making it into a fruit leather with berries and fruits. Apple granola, apple cider, apple and cheddar quiche, apple bacon Gouda grilled cheese. I saw the recipe for that. Cranberry, apple bacon pilaf, apple and arugula salad, which is what we're going to have today.
Mhm.
Caramel apple nachos.
Oh.
So you would
Wow.
make use the peeler and make little slices of it, and then you put chocolate and caramel and nuts, and
Mm-hmm.
it looked
Sounds
really
excellent.
amazing. You should make it for your grandkids.
Yeah.
Candied apples, and I remember when I was a kid, my glasses are falling apart. My mom made candied apples in the school for my classroom. And so all 30 kids are in the kitchen at the cafeteria, and she was making the red candied apples. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you put like a tongue depressor, popsicle stick
Uh-huh.
into each apple, and then you stick that into this hot candied red mess, and then you pull it up and it dries and then breaks your teeth. Anyway, it never thickened. And we're waiting and waiting. And I always think it's kind of funny, having homeschooled for 30 years, that when you're in a school classroom situation, one time I was a teacher, I was making applesauce with the kids, and you're just passing the bowl around so they get all stirred a little bit. And it's like, come on. Anyway, so we're all just sitting there, somebody got the privilege of putting in the sugar and whatever, somebody gets to stir it. It's crazy. So anyway, it never thickened. So finally she said to one of the kids who had waited so patiently, well, why don't you be the first one to sample it, even though it hasn't thickened? So she did. she she started gagging because it wasn't sugar she had put in, it was salt.
Oh.
So I hadn't thought about that in years, but that was really funny. My mom really laughed over that one. That was a fail.
Well, stewed apples is also a neat thing
Yeah.
to do.
So wait, how can we preserve them for winter? We can make apple butter. We can do the leather. What else? We can can them.
You can can applesauce.
Can you
can-
freeze them?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go over these interesting facts, and you're going to see if you can give me the answers.
Oh no.
All right. This is I only have 10 minutes. Oh, I only have 10 minutes. I'll be quick. We'll be quick. Let's see
Okay.
how quickly we can do this.
Okay.
All right. So guys, you know how sometimes I give you a crossword puzzle? I have no idea if you do them, but I'm a homeschool teacher at heart. And so I make crossword puzzles. I think I've probably made hundreds of them over the years. All right. So it takes around 36 apples to create a gallon of apple.
Juice.
Well,
Cider.
it was cider, but I wonder if it's the same.
A little bit different. Yeah.
The average person eats 44 pounds of apples or apple products per
For the winter.
for year.
For a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The health benefits of eating apples are extraordinary, affecting nearly every body system, from preventing disease to curing acute conditions. I'm not going to give you a question for that. I
Yeah.
just had the answer already in
Right.
there.
Right.
So it's good for prevention. Like, you know, the apple a day keeps the,
Doctor away.
yep, there's reasons for that, guys. It's incredible what the apple can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're on that topic, I just want to read a couple of the things that I wrote down that I learned that apples can do for you. So it can control and manage weight because they're so high in fiber and they're filling. And they are high carbs, but they're not a high glycemic index, okay? They can reduce diabetes risk, and there's all kinds of reasons. I'll give you the link to this, why that works. Manages blood sugars, reduce cholesterol levels, prevent heart attacks or strokes, promote digestive health, accelerate endurance. What does that mean? Quercetin found in apples plays a role in increasing endurance and improving athletic performance.
Oh, of course it is. Very good.
Yes, and potassium also offers added endurance benefits as an adequate intake lowers fatigue risk and muscle weakness. So eating apples if you're working out, my son's really into that, so I'll have to tell him. Controls your blood pressure, respiratory health, wards off Alzheimer's disease, treats chronic infections of the prostate. Cataracts, because of the vitamin E content found in apples, is valuable for maintaining good eyesight. Immunity, of the high antioxidant properties of apples, the soluble fiber content can boost your immune system. Bone health, cancer prevention. Oh my word. So it's pretty incredible.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so good. All right, we'll just do a few more and just get you good because I only have a few seconds left.
And my daughters, the chickens, love to eat the apples that fall down from my tree.
Oh, your chickens are the happiest chickens in the world.
They love the apples.
They live in heaven. Okay. And the Bible verse that we learned, kind of crass one, says, at harvest season, it's smart to work hard, but stupid to...
I wasn't paying attention then.
You weren't?
No.
Okay, I'll read it again. Listen. During harvest season, it's smart to work hard, but stupid to... To what?
To not do it, right?
Yeah, to sleep. Yeah, to sleep. So like, you know, this is not the time of year where you should be just like laying back on your laurels and letting all the fruit rot and all the squirrels get to the nuts. It's time to work. But keep in mind, be still, let go, relax, and know that I am God.
Yeah.
This is his abundance. He's opened his hand. We've looked to him, and every day I go out with my empty baskets, like I was preparing for the rehearsal dinner or, you know, weeds to collect. And I had an empty truck. And by the time of the end of the day, my truck was so full of beauty. And then Maggie came over and helped me just make it glorious. And then we took it there, dropped it off, came home, took a shower, hurried back to the rehearsal. And God always fills our buckets and our baskets. So look to him to give us your food in due season. We look to him, we gather it up. So God, gather it up, guys. And he opens his hand and we are satisfied. And I promise you, when you try that Crabapple jelly, you'll be satisfied. And when we eat this dumpling, pretty sure we will be too. So just as you're busy doing this harvest season, do your 15 seconds of silence of watching the apples sway on the tree, or continue doing your videos and posting them so you can spread the love and the peace. So you can be at peace no matter how busy you are. Remember to breathe, remember to dance, remember to be grateful for what he's provided for us. And next week we'll be doing nuts, and hopefully Maggie will come and show us how to take some of this autumn beauty and turn your home into something glorious. Let's talk quickly about what we're doing for next week's homework. So I totally blew it this week. I'm not doing any contests because I never posted any of the contests I promised, because it was just one heck of a crazy week. But this week I promised to get back on top of it. So I want you all to gather the harvest and then take pictures of your foraging basket.
Let me also add, let's find out how many varieties of apples.
Oh, I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, people have in the group that they have close by on their property. Try to identify, even when they have apples that they get from somebody else's property.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to hear. We tried to harvest some Wolf Rivers.
Right, they were huge.
They were enormous, but we never really got any good ones off of that tree. So I'd like to hear people just describe what kind of apple varieties they are, that they have around them in the areas that they live, and that they can identify and or try and cook from too, because certainly there must be some apple varieties that are better for cooking than others. I mean, would you really want to cook with a Granny Smith that's so very, very tart or something like that? I'd love to hear about it.
Well, that's a really good point to bring up, is that the apples are so different in color. Like I've seen green apples, yellow apples, red apples, pink apples, like I love pink ladies, and even purple apples. And the tastes are different. Some are really, really sweet, and some are kind of mushy, and some are crisp, and some of them are sour. And the largest apple was in Japan in 2000, can't remember what year, but it was 4 pounds, 2 ounces. It was almost as big as my head. It's huge. So, all right, I want you to gather the harvest and then show us pictures of your harvest. So I will post in Wild Blessings with Holly Drake in our group a picture of one of my harvest baskets, and that will under there in your comments, put your pictures so that it doesn't constantly blow up our group, and we keep it all in one place, so I can get the winner. All right. Then memorize Psalms 104, 27 and 28. We look to you to give us our food in due season. You give to us. We gather it up. You open your hand and we are satisfied. So memorize that. And then do your apple crossword puzzle. How do you like them apples is what I titled it. And, post pictures. I'll do another thread where I post a picture of probably the dumplings or something, or maybe our apple salad, or just all of our apple things that we do. You guys post your pictures and your recipes below that. I'm going to take everyone who participates in any way this week, put it in a raffle generator next week, and you will get a crab apple jelly, or I can give you an autumn olive berry jelly. So it'll be your choice of which one you want. Okay, that's it. Those are the field work. And then the last thing to say is next week will be nuts. And just as a quick preview, this is amazing. Let me see. What is that?
Black walnut?
Nope.
No.
She doesn't know. You don't know either. You're going to know. What's this?
Black walnut.
That's a black walnut. What is this?
I don't know.
So guys, get these this week. Even if you don't know anything what to do with them, I'll teach you, I promise. You're going to find out next week.
Oh.
All right. What's this?
Acorn?
Chestnut oak, right? Those are those right there. What is this? Oh, these are so cool. I love these. What's that?
Oh, we used to have it in our woods.
I have a ton of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't remember what they're called.
Okay, here it is. These are hickory nuts.
Okay.
And you're going to make milk out of them. You won't believe what you can do with hickory nuts. Okay, these are beautiful, but they're poisonous. So what is that?
Buckeye.
Buckeye.
And that is, I don't
Buckeye.
know. Okay.
Yeah, this is what comes inside of this husk.
Oh.
All right, these are just a few of the nuts we're going to talk about.
You can't eat those, right?
No, you cannot.
This?
No, but there's lots of
They're
things you
pretty.
can do with them, and they are beautiful.
Yeah.
They're an aphrodisiac.
Oh.
All right. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us, Anne. You're such a blessing to me. And I cannot wait to see what you all post. And thank you, Jason, for all you've done for us. You guys, you need to give him some 3 cheers. Thanks for all you've done over these months of helping me. And he'll still record, but we're not going to do any of the fancy stuff we were doing before. God bless you. See you next time. Oh, and if you want to support me on Patreon, that would be amazing. I'd love it. And if you want to invite your friends, let them know that you've invited them. Don't just invite them because then they don't know what they've been invited to. So thank you again, and have a great week, and let me know what you're harvesting.